Hey everybody, it's Amanda, and today we're talking quilting. Let me tell you a little bit about saving money on your little side hobby. Okay, so I am not a serious seamstress or quilter by any means, but I've had a lot of people that I know who are, you know, wanting to make gifts right now. We're home, we're experimenting with different crafts and arts and things like that. And so I thought I would show you how I save money on things like that and make beautiful, nice, thoughtful gifts. So I have a friend who is having a baby, and before I go any further, let me just say we are not expecting any grandbabies, at least not that we know of at this point. And we do have permission to tell you if at any point that does become the case, but this is not for them. This is for other friends who are expecting. And so one of the things with friends who are expecting right now is a lot of times when they want baby gifts, they want them to be made organically. So a lot of times when you look at the baby registry or whatever, it always says like organic clothes or organic this. And I gotta be honest with you, organic fabric can be pricey. It really can be. So I actually figured out a way to do it that's less expensive, and I thought I would share it with you in case this is something that you're interested in. So I actually ordered from a company, and I'm going to show you their information. They're not sponsoring me. This is literally, I did this on my own, and I bought it, and this is from me. All right, this is the cute little package they sent it in, and it's called organicfabriccompany.com. And you can see right here it says Scrappy Fun Inside, and the reason why I was able to get a good deal was because I bought fabric scraps. Now I knew I was making a quilt, so scraps make perfect sense if you're making a quilt. But frankly, I've made clothing items, especially for children, with scrap materials as well. I used to do it when Brianna was a baby. I made her like nightgowns and things, and I would just piece the fabric together, things that coordinated and went together, and actually made really, really cute materials. So you can definitely use it to make clothes as well, but it made perfect sense for making a quilt, so that's what I did. Normally when you buy organic fabric, you pay a really substantial price per yard, and when you're making something as large as a quilt, you need multiple yards, and so it can really add up. Well, when you're using scraps to piece your top, you can cut the price down significantly. Not to mention, when you piece a top, you normally need different colors, so you don't need to buy, you really just need to buy one scrap bag versus 5 or 6 different yards or pieces of yardage of different colors. It gives you more variety, and it makes for a more vibrant quilt, I think. So that's the way I did it. And then once I got my scrap bag in, this is what I did. So these are some of the scraps that I got. And what I did was, when it first came in that Scrappy Fun bag, it actually had a variety of different sizes. Let me show you something. So you can see that all of these are different size pieces, and they're torn up. Like, some are really large, and I have them kind of bundled together. You can see that I can spread them out, and they're quite long. And some are really small. For instance, if I pull this out, you can see that they're really small pieces. Okay, but there's a variety of different colors. So the first thing that I do is I organize them by color, and that way I can put all the like pieces together. So you see I have all the pinks, and then the reds, and then the greens, and then the blues, and then we have these larger pieces. And what I also do, because I knew I was going to use this for quilting, I actually will take and cut as many squares that I can neatly cut first. I just want to make sure all the squares that I need are available at the top. And here's what I use. This is a little quilter square, and that way I know everything is a uniform size. Now this doesn't necessarily work if you're going to be making something that's other than a square shape, although you can use these triangular cuts and things like that. But just for me, I find it easier just to keep it uniform and cut everything in a square shape. So, and I also, by the way, divide them by different types of fabric. So this is just the regular cotton. In this bag, I actually have some flannel pieces, and I also have some holiday ones that are very distinct that I probably am not going to use for a normal quilt. So let me just show you some pictures, or some fabric here. So that's like holly and peppermint candies. Yeah. So things that aren't necessarily used for all year round, or all the different projects that I'm going to do but I put them separate from the regular cotton that it would be used for quilts. By the way, I found this card. This is their card, guys. Like I said, not sponsored, just showing you. Okay, so that's how I divide them up. Once they're divided up and you know, divided by color and everything, and like I said, I've cut out all the squares that I can cut, then I figure out what colors I'm going to do the quilt in. And I usually start with, you know, obviously I'm making a baby gift, so I don't know if I'm doing it for a boy or a girl. And if I'm making it for a girl, I'm going to try to use the traditional girl colors. And if I make it for a boy, I'm going to use traditional boy colors. Or you could be making a neutral one, and then you do the neutral colors. But I always start with whatever I have the most of, because when you have a scrap bag, you know, you never know what's coming in. So I'll look around, and if I have a lot of teal, then I'll base it off the teal and see what things I can find that coordinate with it. Once you figure out your color scheme, then you can buy your fabric that's going to go on the back. You can buy any fabric that you need to make the binding. And then you're set in terms of the fabric. Now, of course, you're going to need to buy the batting. The fabric is what can be costly when you're making something like a quilt, because like I said, you're buying all the different materials. So once I figure out my color scheme, then I go figure it out and get it set up. So I'm going to show you the one that I'm currently working on, and you can see how I determined what colors I was going to use and all of that. So it's in progress. Let me show you. It's early in the morning and my dining room is kind of dark, but hopefully you can see all of the different colors that I have spread out here. And like I said, this one is for a girl. So it is spread all over, and I've actually lined it up. This particular set, I actually had a lot of these pinks. And I thought, okay, that's gonna be the base of this pattern. So what I did was I put the pinks, as you can see, in a pattern around the whole thing. And then I found coordinating patches and put them on there. And of course, when I chose the coordinating patches based on this fabric that's going to be the backing, which has pinks and browns and blues. Because of this, I'm also going to use this blue color. Oop. Normally when I fold it, it doesn't do that. Let me bring it back. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to take the blue color, this blue color right here, and it's going to be the edging and binding going around. So that way we'll have the pink and the blue, which I think is perfect for a baby. This would actually almost be a neutral one. I don't know that everybody would be comfortable with all the pinks, but you know, hey, depends on who you are and what you're comfortable with. So you can see right here that this is a piece that was pieced. That there wasn't enough of this color. I really wanted to put this color on in particular because it matches this like little deer. It doesn't look so matchy in this light, but trust me, in regular life it actually matches very well, and I wanted to make sure I had this darker color incorporated so that they would really go together. And I didn't have very much at all, but this one is actually on all four corners. You can see it there. And I have another darker one, and so that way it's just kind of grounding it. So basically it's kind of those dark colors. There's another like a brownish color. It's grounding it around the edges, and then I spread out the blues and the pinks and the multicolors all around the edges. But like I said, there's a bunch of pieces that I actually pieced together. They were smaller pieces that I put together in such a way that they would create a piece of fabric that I could cut out into a square. So you can see this piece of fabric right here. Not only did I piece it together, but I had to fill a hole. So I don't know if you can see right here, but I actually zigzag stitched around that just to make sure it would stay together. Once I had all the pieces together and pressed them, then I cut it out into a square so that it'll match everything else, which I really think just adds to the, you know, homemade, organic feel of all of the fabrics. And honestly, in some of them I didn't have enough of an exact match. So for instance, this one, it was missing just this little piece, and you can see this one is this like teal X's, and I don't know if you can see what this fabric is. It's like teal with white flowers. It's not a perfect match, but I think it'll kind of read the same. And again, I think that kind of makes this feel more natural, more humble of a quilt. Another one that I did, another one that I kind of didn't do exactly right, was this one. I needed to patch pieces together, and this one right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's actually the fabric on the wrong side, and I left it like that because if you've ever made a quilt, there's just this whole thing with quilting that the mistakes are what make it special. you know, a quilt that's too perfect is too perfect. You always had, there was like this thing with Amish quilts that you always had to have one block that was completely off just to make it humble or natural. So anyway, so that's what I did. So, and you can see here's another one that I pieced a different color fabric, but I really think it adds to it rather than takes away from it. So anyway, so these are the fabrics that I have, and it's pieced out. And so the next step that I have is actually going to be putting all of these squares together and creating the actual quilt. And I think it'll look very nice. So at this point, I'm not going to show you like the entire quilting process because I'm not a professional quilter. There's a lot of great materials here online that will show you how to make a great quilt and do it inexpensively. But I just thought the tip to use the fabric scraps and put the pieces together to make squares and cut it out and base your pattern on what you can get in a scrap bag was just a really good tip, and I wanted to make sure I shared it with you guys in case you were wanting to make a gift for a friend and you were thinking, man, I really want to do it organically, but I'm not sure if I can afford it. Get a scrap bag. Get a scrap bag. So anyway, all right, that's that. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this look. I'm gonna show you a picture of the finished quilt when I am done, and then you can enjoy the gift as much as I hope the recipient does. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Have a good day. I'll see you next time.